Life has a peculiar way of dressing up its most profound lessons in the harshest disguises. The truths that hurt the most, the ones that leave a sting, are often the very ones that can heal and liberate us. Yet most people would rather avoid these hard truths than face them head-on. It's easier to believe comforting lies than to confront the unvarnished reality of existence. But here you are, ready to take that bold step forward. Or are you? Ask yourself, are you truly happy? Or is there a quiet dissatisfaction, a sense that something is missing in your life? Most of us bury these feelings under distractions and self-deceit, but deep down we know something's off. The problem isn't the world or the people around you, it's your mindset. Happiness doesn't come from avoiding hard truths, it comes from embracing them. Let's strip away the illusions. No fluff, no distractions, just the raw truths that will set you free. But know this, these truths will demand something of you. They will challenge your beliefs, but if you're brave enough to confront them, you'll discover a life filled with purpose and clarity. Number 1, you are not that important. Take a moment to reflect. The universe doesn't revolve around you. For some, this truth might sting, while for others it might be a liberating realization. Society constantly feeds us a narrative of self-importance, telling us we're unique, special, and destined for greatness. We are led to believe that our every move is watched and analyzed, that our presence is central to the world around us. But here's the hard truth. Most of us are just ordinary, and that's okay. Your coworkers aren't obsessing over the typo in your email. Your neighbor doesn't notice how clumsily you handle your trash bags every Monday morning. People are too wrapped up in their own lives to scrutinize yours. We often carry the weight of believing that we are the center of attention, but in reality, people aren't thinking about us nearly as much as we think. This idea that everyone is watching, judging, and analyzing us can feel like a heavy burden. But imagine how freeing it would be to realize that the world isn't watching you as closely as you think. Imagine how liberating it would feel to step away from this constant self-awareness. Now, before your ego starts protesting, let's clarify. This is not to undermine your worth. It's not to say that your life is insignificant. What this truth highlights is that people are too caught up in their own struggles and insecurities to be fixated on yours. Everyone is wrapped up in their own inner monologues, their own personal dramas. The coworker you think didn't like your presentation? They're too busy worrying about their own performance to even notice yours. The stranger you stumbled in front of last week? They forgot about you the moment they walked away. By understanding this, you free yourself from the exhausting pressure of trying to be something you're not for the sake of others. You start living authentically, knowing that the world isn't scrutinizing your every move. And the best part? When you stop trying to prove your worth to everyone, you create room for the relationships and pursuits that truly matter. Number 2. Life isn't always fair. If life were truly fair, the kind-hearted would never experience hurt. The hardworking would always receive their just rewards, and the good guy would always win. But fairness is an illusion. Life does not adhere to a set of rules designed to maintain equality or balance. It plays by its own rules, indifferent to your sense of justice or what you believe you deserve. We grow up with the idea that life will reward us for good behavior and punish us for bad decisions. But as we mature, we realize that this view of the world is far from the reality we experience. The hardworking employee doesn't always get the promotion they deserve. The most compassionate person doesn't escape heartache. And the most deserving dreams sometimes remain unfulfilled. Think back to a time when you worked tirelessly for something, giving it your all, only to see someone else, perhaps less deserving or less qualified, walk away with the reward. The sting of this unfairness is sharp, and it's a hard pill to swallow. But fairness is not life's currency. Adaptability is. The sooner you accept that life does not owe you fairness, the sooner you can start focusing on the one thing you can control, your response. When life throws you a curveball, you have two options. You can remain bitter and resentful, or you can pivot, adapt, and keep moving forward. Consider life as a chess game. Sometimes the pieces are stacked against you, the odds seem insurmountable, but the best players don't waste time complaining. They strategize. They find their next move, no matter how small, and they take it. Picture life as a storm, uprooting everything in its path. Do you stand still, shaking your fists at the sky, or do you start picking up the pieces? Complaining about life's unfairness is like shaking your fist at the clouds. It changes nothing. Instead, focus on what you can control and use the setbacks as fuel for growth. Resilience is not about denying that life is unfair, but rather about refusing to let it define you. Life will never be fair, but that doesn't mean it can't still be beautiful. Number 3. Accepting that not everyone will like you. Here's a tough one. Not everyone will like you. No matter how hard you try to be kind, fit in, or be likable, there will always be people who just don't click with you. And that's perfectly fine. It's a bitter truth, but it's one that holds a certain freedom. Compatibility isn't universal. It's selective, nuanced, and sometimes downright inexplicable. Let's be honest, how many people do you genuinely like, unconditionally? Probably not as many as you'd think. Compatibility is not a reflection of your worth. It's about personalities aligning, shared values, and experiences meshing together in ways we can't always predict. Trying to win everyone over is a losing game. You'll dilute yourself into a version of you that isn't authentic, all in an attempt to gain the approval of people who might not even matter in the grand scheme of your life. Instead of bending yourself into shapes that don't fit, focus on the people who truly value you for who you are. Authentic relationships are more valuable than 1,000 superficial acquaintances. There's no need to waste your time trying to win over people who don't appreciate your true self. It's time to smile at the absurdity of trying to win over the haters and move on. Those who value you will stay. The rest will fade away. And that's okay. You don't need to be liked by everyone to live a meaningful life. The ones who truly matter will respect your authenticity, and that's where real connections thrive. We waste far too much time worrying about what others think, especially when those thoughts are not even about us. The truth is, people have their own worries, and they're rarely as fixated on you as you think. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you free yourself to form real, deep connections with those who appreciate you as you are. Number 4. Change is inevitable. Change doesn't knock gently on your door. It barges in, uninvited, and turns your life upside down. Yet despite this undeniable truth, most of us resist change with all our might. We cling to the familiar, terrified of what lies beyond the comfort zone, as though stability were the ultimate goal. But here's the paradox. Life's only constant is change. The seasons change, people grow, and circumstances evolve. You cannot hold back the tide of change by sheer force. When we resist, we make the process more painful. Think of trying to stop a flood with your bare hands, exhausting, futile. Now imagine riding that wave, letting it carry you to places you've never imagined. Embrace change, and you'll see it's one of life's greatest teachers. Change forces you to grow. It pushes you out of your comfort zone and into new territories, where growth happens. You discover strengths you didn't even know you had. Think about the butterfly emerging from its cocoon. Without the struggle, it could never fly. Change works the same way. It's uncomfortable, yes. It's terrifying, no doubt. But it's also transformative. You're not meant to remain the same. Life isn't about staying static, it's about evolving. It's about stretching beyond the limits you've imposed on yourself. In embracing change, you become the person you were always meant to be. Life will push you to evolve, to stretch your boundaries, to break through limitations. If you resist, you stay stuck. But if you lean into change, if you allow it to shape you, you'll discover that it wasn't something to fear, but something to embrace. You'll be surprised at how much growth is waiting for you just beyond the horizon of your comfort zone. The world doesn't slow down just because you're not ready for change. You can either fight it, or you can welcome it. The best way to face change is to let it move you, rather than trying to stop it. The more you resist, the more painful it becomes. But the more you accept, the more you grow into the version of yourself you've always been destined to become. Number 5. Happiness is a choice. Happiness is not something that happens to you. It's not a stroke of luck, nor is it a gift handed to you by life. It's a decision, a choice you make every single day, regardless of the circumstances around you. This is not about denying your struggles or pretending everything is fine. It's about deciding to find joy, even in the midst of difficulty. It's about shifting your perspective to see the beauty in the process, rather than just the outcome. We often think that happiness will come when all the stars align, when everything falls into place, when the external circumstances finally match our desires. But that's a false hope. Happiness isn't found in ideal conditions. It's found in how you choose to respond to what life throws at you. It's about focusing on what you have, rather than what you lack. Imagine two people standing in the rain. One curses the sky, furious about the inconvenience. The other lifts their face, marveling at the beauty of the storm. Both are experiencing the same rain, but their perspectives are vastly different. This is how happiness works. It's not determined by the events in your life, but by how you choose to interpret them. Choosing happiness doesn't mean you ignore reality or pretend that everything is perfect. It means looking for the good, even when it's hard to see. It means choosing gratitude over resentment, optimism over despair, and hope over cynicism. This is a practice, a habit that requires discipline and a willingness to see the silver lining, even when it's hard to find. The more you choose happiness, the more it becomes ingrained in the way you experience life. It shapes your worldview, colors your experiences, and transforms your outlook. Life will never be perfect. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and hardships. But how you respond to them, how you choose to see them, will determine your level of happiness. Happiness is not an external force, it's an internal one. It's a choice you make every day, in every situation. The more you choose it, the more you build a life filled with meaning, joy, and purpose. So stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Start finding happiness in the imperfections. In doing so, you'll realize that happiness isn't a destination, it's a journey. What are your views on this? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I will personally read all of your comments. And if you seriously want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Stay strong. Until next time.